Hi friends, this is about my third take for this Facebook Live today. I don't know, some of you said you didn't have sound, but when I played it back there was, so I'm just going to go with it now. I'm Penny Hunt, and this is Pennie Heart to Heart. I come to you with these little snippets that I call Pennie's Heart to Heart and talk to you about my latest writing, my latest blog, something that I've posted, and today is a special day. I'm going to talk to you about the blog post I put up this morning. It's on, should be on my Facebook feed right below this video. And it's called All Things Grow with Love. As always, if you haven't read it, the link is here with this video. Again, it's right below, should be the post below this video on the feed as well. It's on my website. But for the entire month of February, I have been posting something every day about love because after all, February is the month of love. I've been giving you ideas, how to express love, how to find love, how to look for love in your everyday life. And I saved this one intentionally for today because today is the last day of February, but that does not mean it should be the last day that we think about love. I talk about love often through my writings all year round because I think it is the most important thing we are here to do. And so it's not just for the month of February that we should talk about love. It's for all of our days of our lives. So I want to tell you about this one, All Things Grow with Love. And this is an idea to help you keep love going, not just in February, but all year for your life. This is an idea that I did a few years ago for my husband. I had this idea that I wanted to write down in a book every day why I loved him. It sounds like a big job. And I really was adamant that I was going to be successful with this. So I needed to find a journal to write in. Now I'm a writer, so I buy journals all the time. So I went to my stack of journals and I found the perfect one. This one says, All Things Grow with Love. All things grow with love. That might be backwards to you, but that's what it says. Now I'm really picky about my journals. I have to like the way they feel in my hand when I hold them. I want the papers to feel right. I like the binding so that it opens so that I can actually hold it and write in it because some of them are kind of tight there. This was the perfect journal to spend a year with. And so I found this one and I wrote on January 1st an explanation of what I was doing, about how I was going to write to him every day something that I loved about him, a reason that I loved him. And so what I did, because I'm a little bit anal about things like this, I wanted to make sure I could get a year in this book. I wanted to make sure I didn't end the year with a whole bunch of empty pages. So I counted the pages, and I divided them by 4 for quarters of the year, and I put a Post-it note, a sticky note, to divide them. So that when I peeled off that sticky note, I knew where I should be about in my year, so I would not run out of pages. The first page, I wrote this explanation about what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, and my plan was to have a wonderful kind of end of the year after Christmas present that I was going to give him on New Year's Day. And I just thought it was a gift for him. I just thought this would be great. He'll be impressed that I wrote every day for a year, thought about it, wrote him a note about why I loved him. And so what happened was the first day I wrote, Today I love you because, and I thought of something. So some of the entries were a sentence long, some of them were 2 pages long. It just depended on what I came up with that day. And I wanted it to be more than just, I love you today because you took out the trash. I wanted it to be deeper than that and more meaningful than that. So I started watching my husband like a spy. I watched everything he did. I paid attention to how he moved and how his cologne would smell and all these little things that I watched, and I would come up with ideas of why I loved him. Now remember, this started out as a gift for him. And what happened was it became a gift for me, and it became really quite fun to watch him like a spy, and watch everything he did and come up with new and interesting reasons why I loved him. Think about that. Can you think every day, why do I love this person? You can say you love somebody, but why? What is it about them that makes you love them? I did it when the first quarter of the year passed, and I remember pulling out that sticky note and thinking, I am a quarter of the way done. And then I remember as the year progressed and I was halfway done. And then I remember when it was the last sticky note and I was on my last quarter of the year. And I realized I was really doing it. I was really accomplishing what I wanted to. It wasn't going to be a book that I halfway finished and didn't finish. It was really something. And as I progressed with it, I realized the power that it held the power of love. So on the last day, December 31st, I wrote him a letter in the book. And if you read my writing, if you've seen it in my newspaper column, which it also was in this week, wherever you saw this writing, or if you're going to go to my blog now and read it, or read it on Facebook here, you will read this very personal letter that I wrote to my husband at the end of the book. And I explained to him that I had really done it. I had done this for a whole year, every day watching him like a spy, and every day writing down why I loved him. Some days it wasn't as easy as others. Some days there was something that jumped out at me that I just thought was fabulous that I wrote. Some days I really had to search. And I even told him in this very personal ending that there was one day I couldn't come up with anything. I really had to search my heart because we weren't having a good day. And for whatever reason that I can't even remember now, I thought there's no reason I love him today. But even on that day when I thought there was nothing in my heart that was telling me why I loved him, I came up with something and wrote even on that day. I told him that in this very personal ending to this book. And I told him, how some days it was little things, some days it was big things, some days it was long stories. But I explained it all to him at the end. And then I closed the book. I closed the book with, on the very last page, all the way to the end. That's how it came out, as it was supposed to be. And we were actually on vacation, December 31st, and I had taken the book with me. I had taken wrapping paper and a gold bow. And when I wrote that last word, I closed the book, I wrapped it in white tissue paper, I put this gold glittery bow on it, and then I went to him and I said, I've got a gift for you. And he said, well, Christmas is over. And I said, I realize that. It's not a Christmas present. It is something special that I've been working on, and I want you to have it. So I gave him the book. He opened it, and on the first page, he started reading the explanation of what I was doing. He flipped through a couple of pages. It may have been the whole month of January because he sat pretty quietly reading. And then he closed the book, and he looked at me, and neither one of us said anything. We didn't have to, because I knew what it meant to me to accomplish this and create this documentary of love. I knew what it meant to him to receive it, and he understood that I had worked on this for a year. What was a $3 journal? $3 I paid for this, because when I took it out of my journal pile, I peeled off the price tag, became a treasure, a lifelong treasure, a documentary of my love for him. So what he decided to do was, instead of just sitting and reading it all in one setting, he put it on his nightstand by our bed, and every night when we would go to bed, he'd say, I'm going to read you a story. And he would read me this story, this snippet, the entry for the day that I had written a year before. And he read it out loud, and it made him feel loved because he read what I wrote, and it made me remember that day, because every time he would read it to me, I would remember the day that I wrote it and what happened and how it felt and what the weather was like. And it would just take me right back to that place of discovery, of discovering once again how much I love my husband. So it became such a treasure and something that he will, it's one of those things I think if there was a fire in the house that he would grab and run out of the house with, because it's not something that you can replace. It is my deepest thoughts, my deepest feelings, little picture stories of something he did that day. It was how he walks by me when I'm in the kitchen and he brushes my cheek with the back of his hand. It was how he laughs when he's reading something out loud, and I don't know what he's reading, but he'll laugh out loud. It was little things like that, little things that he would do for me. I'm not a good water drinker, so every day he fills a bottle of water for me and sets it on the counter and hopes that I will drink it just as a reminder. All of these little things that he does that makes me feel loved, I documented in this book. I share this very personal story with you because it turned out to be such a gift of love to him, and it turned out to be such a gift of love to myself, because as the title says, all things grow with love. When you concentrate on love, if you concentrate on looking for those reasons that you love someone, it grows. It makes you love them more. By the end of this year, I am pretty confidently going to say I loved him more than I did when I wrote the first page, because I had come up with something every day for a year to add to my list of why I loved him. I share this with you because I don't want love to end in the last day of February. I want you to think of love all year round. Now, there's a lot of ways you can do this. I tell this story oftentimes when I'm speaking. And once after I spoke, there was a friend that came up to me and said, I know exactly how I'm going to do this. And what she did was she had a senior in high school, and she created a book for him telling her son what she loved about him. And when he left for college, she tucked this book in his suitcase secretly, so that when he got to college and unpacked his suitcase, there was this book from Mom saying all the reasons that she loved him. Now, I don't know if she did it for a year or how long she did it. It's a great Valentine gift. You can start it now and give it as a gift for next Valentine's Day. You can do it for a month. You can start it now for your mom and use it as a Mother's Day or a Father's Day gift. Or if you're married and you have kids, a Father's Day gift for your husband is why you love him as a father. There's so many reasons, so many ways that you can do a book like this. One other thing, I teach grief writing workshops. And I teach this technique in that workshop to write about the person that you loved every day. Maybe they passed and your heart is broken, as we all are during the dark days of grief. But if you find a journal and you write in it every day why you love them, I believe it would start out sadly. Sadly, you would be writing the most recent memories of, whether it was an illness or whatever happened. But by the end of a year, you will have a documentation of memories of that person that is no longer with you, but you would have a whole book of memories of them. And I think by the end of the year, they would turn into happy memories, things that you could remember that were wonderful, joyous moments that you spent with them, how they touched your cheek with the back of their hand, things that in 20 years, we hope not to forget, but now you would have them documented. I share this writing with you. I so encourage you to read it because it has that letter that I ended with to my husband, and I think that is fun to read. It's very personal to me and him. He, when I go out and speak, I always want to take it, but he won't let me take it when I travel, so I have a slide that I usually put up a picture. But when I speak locally, I usually take the book so you can actually see the book, because it is quite a treasure to him and to me. So we are very careful about where it's at and that it doesn't get lost and misplaced. I encourage you to try this. Go read the blog post, and so you can get more details. And if you do try it, or if you come up with a new way to use this technique, I would love to hear it. But if you do it and you give it to someone as a gift, please let me know. I think if you did this for a mom, if one of my kids did this for me, I would be a puddle on the floor, because it would mean so much to my heart to receive something like this. Anyway, that is why I wrote it. That is why I shared this technique with you. Don't let the last day of February be the end of thinking about love. We should think about love every day. And so all things grow with love. And I hope that's a concept that you can really hang on to. I thank you for your time. I thank you for hanging in there with a couple of false starts here with no sound, I guess. And now I think we've got a good one that will go up on my Facebook page. So have a grand day. Tomorrow we start a new month, and how exciting is that? But for now, remember, all things grow with love. I'm Pennie Hunt, and this has been Pennie Heart to Heart. Thanks for watching.